On an African floodplain at dusk, a serval freezes mid-step. Just ahead, a long-bodied snake lifts the front of its body, ribs flared, hood widened in a clear defensive display. The cat's tall ears tilt forward. The grass barely moves. For a long moment, neither animal advances. One relies on precision and distance. The other relies on venom and warning signals. But here's the unexpected part. The king cobra, that many people imagine is not native to Africa at all. So what really happens when a serval meets a large, highly venomous snake in its home range? And what behavior allows both animals to resolve the encounter with minimal risk? This documentary explores the real-world biology behind encounters between servals and large cobras, separating fact from common online confusion. We will look at where these species actually live, how servals respond to venomous snakes in Africa, and how both animals use specialized behaviors to avoid unnecessary injury. Everything you hear is based on documented animal behavior, field observations, and established ecological research. No dramatization, no fictional fights, just how nature actually works. Understanding these interactions matters because they reveal how predators balance opportunity with risk, how species avoid conflict, and how ecosystems function through countless decisions made by wild animals every day. This documentary is presented for educational and informational purposes only. All content is based on real-world animal behavior, supported by scientific research, ecological studies, and verified observations from reputable wildlife organizations and natural history sources. No information is fabricated, fictionalized, or exaggerated. Before we continue, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to support the channel and help us bring more nature stories to life. The serval is a cat of African wetlands, savannas, and grasslands. Long legs lift its body above tall sedges. Oversized ears detect the faint rustle of small mammals underground. Its hunting strategy is built on sound, patience, and a sudden vertical leap that can exceed its own height. The true king cobra, however, lives far away in forests of South and Southeast Asia. It does not share habitat with servals. The animals in Africa that most closely resemble what people call a king cobra are other cobra species, such as the black-necked spitting cobra or forest cobra. These are highly venomous snakes in the serval's environment, and they command respect from most mammals. So when a serval hunting rodents or small birds encounters one of these African cobras, the situation becomes a test of assessment rather than aggression. The snake may raise its head and spread its hood in a clear signal. It is aware, and it is dangerous to attack. The serval's response is usually not a fight, but a calculation. Is the reward worth the risk? The cat circles lightly, weight shifted to its hind legs, ready to spring backward as easily as forward. The snake maintains its posture, conserving energy while staying prepared to retreat to cover. Wind moves the grass in waves, and the moment stretches. The turning point arrives when the cobra lowers slightly, beginning to edge toward dense vegetation. The serval now faces a choice: pursue and escalate, or disengage and return to safer prey that cannot inject venom. The chapter ends here, with the decision still unwritten, shaped by energy needs, experience, and the invisible pressures of the ecosystem. Behavioral and ecological analysis. Servals are specialist hunters that primarily target small mammals, especially rodents. Unlike mongooses or honey badgers, servals are not known for physiological resistance to snake venom. As a result, their typical strategy around large venomous snakes is avoidance or caution rather than deliberate predation. Their advantage is not outsmarting, but risk management. Exceptional hearing, long limbs for maintaining distance, rapid retreatability, and a preference for prey that offers high caloric return with low danger. These traits reduce the likelihood of close contact with highly venomous snakes. Cobras, for their part, generally do not seek conflict with adult carnivores. Their hood display, hissing, and upright posture are primarily defensive signals intended to deter approach. Venom is metabolically costly to produce and is mainly adapted for subduing prey, not for fighting large mammals that will not be eaten. Unlike many big cats that rely on power, the serval relies on precision and selectivity. Compared with generalist carnivores, servals focus on small quarry and wetland habitats, which aligns with their long-legged, high-jumping body plan. Cobras, in contrast, occupy a wide range of niches and play important roles in controlling rodent populations, the same prey base that attracts servals. In nature, finishing the fight clean most often means no fight at all. Mutual recognition, warning signals, and withdrawal are among the most common outcomes when two capable animals meet. As twilight deepens, temperature begins to drop across the grassland. For reptiles, cooling air reduces speed and stamina. For the serval, this is the most active hunting window of the day. The cobra holds its defensive posture but begins to conserve motion, lowering its hood slightly while keeping its head oriented toward the serval. The message remains the same: high risk, not suitable prey. The serval shifts strategy. Instead of closing in, it increases distance, a hallmark of its behavior around dangerous animals. Long limbs allow the cat to stay well beyond the snake's striking range while still assessing movement. A short feint to one side tests the cobra's reaction time. The snake responds with a small adjustment rather than a lunge. Here lies the real outsmarting found in nature. Not a dramatic clash, but information gathering. The serval uses brief, precise movements and its exceptional hearing to evaluate whether the snake is actively hunting, retreating, or holding ground. A new sound changes the moment. A faint rustle beneath saturated soil a few meters away. To a serval, this is the sound that matters most. A small mammal tunneling. High-protein prey, minimal danger. Now two options exist in the same field of view. A venomous snake signaling danger, and the primary prey type that shaped the serval's evolution. The cat turns its head, ears triangulating on the underground movement. The cobra begins to edge toward cover, seizing the opportunity to withdraw as the focus shifts elsewhere. The serval lowers into a poised crouch over the hidden rodent channel. The outcome of the snake encounter is clear in ecological terms, but the hunt that follows has just begun. Will the serval's hallmark vertical pounce succeed in saturated ground, or will the prey escape deeper into its burrow? The serval remains motionless for a heartbeat, front legs gathered beneath its body. Then it rises in a sudden, vertical spring, a characteristic hunting motion that allows it to land directly onto the point of sound. The goal is not force, but accuracy. The saturated soil collapses slightly under its paws. A vole-sized rodent bursts sideways through the thatch and disappears into thicker cover. The serval listens again, adjusting, then resumes its measured search pattern. For this cat, missed attempts are common. Success comes through repetition, not risk. Behind it, the cobra has already taken advantage of the distraction. With the serval focused elsewhere, the snake has slipped into dense vegetation and continued its slow retreat. No chase follows. No escalation occurs. The interaction ends the way many real encounters do in nature. Both animals intact, both conserving energy for better opportunities. Night insects begin to dominate the soundscape. Small amphibians call from temporary pools formed by seasonal rain. The serval resumes its steady walk, ears independently rotating, scanning for the next rustle beneath the grass. The unanswered question now shifts, with larger prey choosing withdrawal and smaller prey escaping underground. How will the serval balance energy spent against energy gained as the night deepens? And what other competitors or challenges will shape its next decision? As darkness settles, the landscape changes from heat-driven activity to sound-driven navigation. For a serval, this period is about efficiency. Each movement has a cost, and every successful capture contributes to a delicate balance between energy gained and energy spent. Moist ground from recent rains concentrates life. Frogs call from shallow pools, and insects gather in dense swarms above the water's edge. These seasonal shifts shape hunting choices. When rodents are harder to access, many servals temporarily switch to easier prey, such as frogs or small birds on low perches. This flexibility helps explain their wide distribution across African habitats. The serval pauses beside a flooded channel, listening. Nearby, another predator calls, the distant hoo-hoo of a large owl. A black-backed jackal passes downwind, moving along a habitual path. These are not direct threats to an adult serval, but they are part of the same night economy. Each species alters the behavior of others simply by being present. A faint ripple touches the water surface. Small fish and aquatic invertebrates move close to the margin where plants overhang. The serval lowers its head, ears forward, but remains still. Its elongated legs allow it to hunt in waterlogged ground without soaking the body, another adaptation to wetland life. Here the earlier snake encounter shows its broader influence. By avoiding a risky confrontation, the cat remains fully capable of exploiting these new opportunities. A serious bite would have meant weakness, reduced hunting ability, and increased vulnerability to disease and competition. Avoidance, not conflict, preserved options. A sudden splash breaks the surface. A frog leaps, then disappears again. The serval focuses, but before it strikes, wind shifts and carries a stronger sound from the grass behind. Multiple small movements at once, likely a cluster of rodents emerging to feed under cover of darkness. Two resource patches now compete for attention. Scattered amphibians in the water and concentrated small mammals on land. Each has different effort and reward levels. The serval turns, weighing sound against distance. The next decision will shape the rest of the night's success. Pursue the richer but more elusive rodent cluster, or remain at the water's edge where prey is easier but smaller. The outcome remains open, suspended in darkness, as the serval steps silently toward the source of movement. The serval melts back into the grass, body almost invisible except for the steady rise and fall of its ears. The cluster of rodents ahead is feeding, but alert. Any misstep will send them below ground in seconds. The cat slows, placing each foot deliberately to avoid breaking dry stems. A quick vertical jump follows, another classic serval tactic. This time the landing is precise. A single small mammal is pinned briefly, then carried in a thicker grass where the cat can eat without competition. The event is brief and efficient, the product of many silent calculations across the night. The earlier Cobra encounter now sits in context. The serval has gained the energy it needed without direct conflict, without injury, and without testing the limits of venom and reflexes. The snake avoided a predator it could not easily consume. Both animals relied on signals, distance, and the option to disengage, core parts of survival in complex ecosystems. Clouds drift across the moon. The serval resumes its night-long pattern of listening, leaping, and moving on. A wetland bird calls from the reeds. Somewhere in the dark, the cobra continues its own search for prey that fits its size and strategy, using chemical cues instead of ears. In nature, many of the most decisive moments end quietly. Behavioral and ecological analysis. This story illustrates a fundamental principle in animal behavior: risk-sensitive foraging. Servals are capable hunters, but their survival depends on selecting prey that provides nutrition while minimizing the chance of injury. Venomous snakes fall outside their usual target category because a single bite can impair mobility and overall fitness. Unlike species that have evolved specialized resistance to venom, servals rely on early detection, long limbs that help them maintain distance, and rapid withdrawal responses. Their success is often expressed as avoidance rather than confrontation. Cobras, meanwhile, fill an important ecological role as both predator and prey within African ecosystems. Their warning displays are classic examples of honest signaling, visual and auditory cues that reduce unnecessary conflict by advertising danger. Venom is mainly an adaptation for subduing appropriate prey, not for routine combat with large mammals. The broader ecological picture shows complementary strategies. Servals primarily regulate populations of small mammals in wetlands and grasslands. Cobras help control similar prey groups, but through different hunting methods and activity patterns. Instead of constant direct competition, these species often coexist by partitioning time, space, and prey types. The clean finish seen here is not a dramatic victory. It is a demonstration of how natural selection favors behaviors that reduce needless harm, retreat, redirection, and efficient use of energy. The night draws toward dawn. Wetland grasses turn silver in early light, and the serval settles to rest in thick cover. Somewhere in nearby reeds, the cobra coils beneath a fallen branch to conserve warmth for the day ahead. Neither animal won or lost. Both continued what their species have done for thousands of years: navigate opportunity and risk within the limits of their biology. Their brief encounter highlights a larger truth about ecosystems. Survival often depends less on strength and more on judgment shaped by evolution. Avoidance, communication signals, and flexibility keep complex communities functioning. If you enjoyed this journey into the wild, subscribe for more real animal stories. Leave a comment below. What part surprised you most?